This is the greatest moment in my life.
Hey, yo!
Woo!
Hello, Mr. Mags.
Hello, Mrs. Sa.
Mrs. Si.
Master Sa.
Master Si. Yeah, all right, mate. How's things? All good?
Yeah, really good. Are you?
Yeah. No, mate, I got a sore eye. I got a really sore eye.
Yeah, you were saying, and I didn't care in the pre-chat. So go on, tell us what has happened with your eye.
I was sat on a Monday. Normally, when Charlie gets home from school, I'll watch a couple of episodes of Doctor Who with her. After I've been incredibly professional and already prepped for chain wrestling during the day, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And no, that's actually the truth. That is what I do now, because I know Charlie wants to come in on a Monday and watch Doctor Who. Look, so she's motivated me. But I was sat there watching Doctor Who with her, and my eye just started itching. It was quite sore.
Twitch.
Yeah, it really hurts. It really hurts. So if I look a bit wonky-eyed or a bit squinty or whatever, that'd be why.
Is that legitimately the whole story?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's sore as hell. It really, really hurts.
Brilliant. Thanks for that. Thanks for sharing that.
Well, you asked.
CWF.
You asked. You know?
I did ask, and I've
You did.
bitterly regret it.
Awesome. Fantastic stuff. Oh, we get to watch a bit of 80s wrestling, mate, don't we?
I know, I'll fucking fuming about it. Already 2 minutes in and I'm swearing. But we'll discuss that at the appropriate time.
At the appropriate time. Okay.
Cam in the chat straight away. Sai's got pink eye.
Got pink eye. Yeah, okay. Shall we start the show properly then? Now everyone's, mocked me about my bad eye and stuff. Well, I say everyone, you and Cam, but that's enough, mate. That's enough.
Yes, let's do it.
Okie dokie, all squinty-eyed like that, yeah. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live with Mags and Si, an SJP World Media production, episode 111. All the ones, Magsy, 111.
111 to 1.
It's a lot of episodes, isn't it?
It's 110 episodes too many.
Ooh,
some would say.
I am Si, and with me as always is the Starrcade to my podcast charade. That's right, I just wing it. Literally just wing it. I don't know how I've got my own network. It's fucking ridiculous. The Ric Flair to my cocaine bear. Have you seen the trailers for this?
I'm going to see this film. It looks ridiculous. And it's a true story.
Insane. Yeah, it looks insane. I'm going to really enjoy it. I can't wait. It's right up my street. Just absolute nonsense. A big bear and drugs. Sounds like a weekend in Gloucester.
I was literally going to make the same joke.
A podcaster that, when left alone for too long, dances around in polka dot pants and calls himself the Burnley Dream. The podfather himself, Mr. Mags. How are you, sir?
The Burnley Dream, if you will. I'm doing good. I'm doing very, very good.
Good weekend, mate. Good week.
Yeah, hectic weekend. There was Floyd Mayweather were boxing on the Saturday.
Okay.
And then yesterday, Jake Paul's and Tommy Fury's boxing. So yeah, we got the projector out and projected it onto the back wall outside, and yeah, we had a jolly good time.
That's not a wall that is part of your house or belongs to you, is it? You just literally.
Oh, it's our house wall. Yeah,
sat in the middle of the street projecting it against the fucking.
I actually to test, because it's the first time we've used a projector outside, and I tested it on my neighbour's wall first, just in case it didn't work.
Brilliant.
But yeah, we plugged it, had the projector on, projected onto the wall, and watched Jake Paul get his ass whipped, which was fun.
Okay. That's Logan Paul's brother, isn't it?
Yeah. The most knobhead of the Paul brothers.
Oh, he's worse than the other one, is he? Because I got no knowledge of the one who does the boxing.
Oh, he's very much the worst. Yeah, he's very much the worst.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okie doke. I just don't like them, to be honest.
King's Plings Banner in the chat. Hello, so how are you? He says Tommy Lee versus Natalie Dunn fight the weekend. Yeah, that fight was ridiculous. So I think these two are American kind of reality stars / actresses. and they hated each other. It was a typical, we don't know how to box, but let's just beat the piss out of each other fight. Yeah, we're brilliant.
Okay, a proper scrap then.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Well, seeing as you've already started, Magsy, shall we run through the chat and see who has joined us early on?
Yes, we shall. So very early doors was Connor. Hello to you, sir. How are you doing? Dan Griffin then jumping in. Good evening, Mags and Sar. You beautiful buttholes. Ironic that I'm actually not a butthole today. I am Ric Flair's windmilling penis, quite clearly.
You are. You feel like you're emerging from the front of Ric Flair's trunks.
I feel like Ric Flair is going to flash me to a air stewardess very, very soon. He then continues and says a cordial how do you do to the rest of the CWF, followed quickly by Cam, hello sir, and James, I'm all right, and King's Better. How are you guys all doing? This is brilliant. Sar's got pink eye. That definitely does need to be a new SJP shirt.
I have not got pink eye. I have not.
No, you're just doing a pirate impression. I mean, you've got the accent down. I mean, pirates and Gloucester are literally the same people.
Is that? Yeah, they're literally the same people, are they?
Pretty much, yeah.
There's not many Jolly Roger flags flying from combine harvesters, mate, I'll tell you that.
And then finally, 3 minutes into the show, and then Sharon says, "Shit, it's Monday night," and you know what that means. And do you know why Sharon was late doing this message? It's because she sat in the green room right now, waiting to jump into the show for Mags and Sar.
Loitering, maybe.
Yeah, loitering is a perfect way to explain it. Dan Griffin said he's off to see Cocaine Bear next week. Looks amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to see. I can't wait for the sequel, Heroin Squirrel. A little bit darker though. There's not that much comedy in Heroin Squirrel.
Heroin Squirrel, brilliant.
Cam saying no, isn't one about a crocodile. What, a cocaine crocodile? That'd be brutal. Absolutely brutal. Meth credit has already been made. Methogator. Jesus Christ. And all this drugs talk, and then Charlie's in. Sorry, Charlie. Apologies for these reprobates in the CWF. Dan Kane, hello, sir. How are you? And then Kingsley said autocorrect attack of the meth gator, apparently it's called. So it's not meth credit.
Okay.
Never thought I'd see the day. Meth, yeah, that's when you go to the bank for a loan and you smacked off your tits. Dan says, never thought I'd see the day that Mags was Ric Flair's shroom tip. Well, I mean, I'm making everyone's Christmas then, aren't I? Already.
Oddly, I thought that day would come around very quickly, to be fair.
And then back around and around and around and around. Dad Powell, the pink-haired pirate. And then finally, Sharon is a serial loiterer. I mean, there's laws against that, you know, Sharon. There is laws against it. That's indeed. The chat all caught up with.
Fantastic stuff. Well, we mentioned there plenty. Loitering in the background ready. Magsy, shall we get on with Mags versus Cy this week?
Let's do it.
Mags. Soy. Mags. Soy.
Mags v Cy.
Just the cow. It just makes no sense whatsoever.
And here she is, Quiz Master Sharon. How are you doing, my love?
I'm well, thank you, husband.
Good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Okay. So, same format.
I feel like a bit of a gooseberry in this. Like here's the loving couple and then me.
Well, if anything, I reckon Shall might be the gooseberry because surely you and me are the loving couple.
Well, that is very true. He's my husband now, Sharon.
In fact, I'll drop him off.
You'll drive all the way to Burnley. Bloody hell, I want to get rid of you that bad. Where Sharon has her beautiful face has popped up on our screen now. Magsy, your little window's gone higher, and you actually look like you're Ric Flair's head as opposed to Ric Flair's head.
Woo!
For those unfamiliar with the format of Mags v Psy, first of all, where have you been the last few weeks, you mugs? Secondly, it's very simple. It's 5 questions each, penalty shootout format. Sharon is our quiz master. She will ask us a question each, one by one, and then whoever gets the most out of 5 at the end wins this round. And we're currently sat at 1 each, Magsy.
We are 1 apiece, yes.
So
it's all to play for.
Oh, feel the excitement and the tension. Right then, I'm ready whenever you are.
Well, shall we not first explain what this week's topic is?
Oh, yeah, we should do, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should. So today, on the 27th of February in the year 2000, Kurt Angle won the Intercontinental Champion to be a double champion at the time, the Euro Continental Champion. So I thought that would be a perfect way to get a topic for this quiz. So we've gone for the WWF/WWE European Championship. So that's this week's topic.
It is indeed something that when I started trying to put together questions for Mr. Mags, I realized I know nothing at all about. So I fully expect to get trounced this week. But let's see how we go. Who's going first, Magsy?
You can go first.
Oh, thanks, mate.
You never
Sharon,
really get to go first, do you?
I don't, mate, ever. 111 episodes, and you always go first with everything.
Yeah, I mean, as it should be, but I'll let you go first this one time.
Thanks, mate. Sharon, I am ready when you are.
Okay. Mr. Simon.
Yes.
There are 14 flags on the European title belt representing 11 different countries. Name 2 of the 3 countries that have more than 1 flag on the belt.
So there's 3 countries that have more than 1 flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to name 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Bloody hell. I'm going to go with the UK. Is that one of them?
Is that your answer?
Yeah, exactly. Look at me jumping in. That it's up to the quizmaster.
It is. I'm going to go with the UK as one of my answers. Yep.
Okay.
And bloody hell. I think Germany's on the side, so it's Germany at the bottom as well. I'll go with Germany.
Okay, you are right with 1.
Oh, pressure. I was about to say something really stupid then.
Oh, no, you've only got to name 2. You got me confused then, thinking I'd done something wrong. You've only got to name 2. You've named 2 and 1 was wrong.
No, but it can have 3 guesses.
Okay, then.
Okay. The French?
I fucking bitterly regret giving you that option.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The answer is Germany, France, and Portugal.
Portugal? That's random, isn't it?
There's a Romanian flag on there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean it's random as in it's not, because obviously Portugal's part of Europe, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's random that Portugal is on there twice.
UK only is on there 1 time.
Okay. I'm quite good with flags, to be fair. Flags, I'm a bit of a geek like that.
Well,
So.
you got that one right, so well done.
Yay.
Mr. Mags. Kurt Angle defended both the European title and the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania 2000.
Mm-hmm.
But who did he win the European title from?
Oh. My brain is telling me Test, but I don't know if that's true. I think that might be too early. I want to say Val Venus. I think I'm going to go with Val Venus.
Is that your final answer?
If it's going to be Test, I'll be fuming. Yeah, I'll go with Val Venus.
And you are correct.
Oh.
What a shite. What a shite.
Brilliant. Mr. Simon.
Hello.
Triple H is a two-time European champion, reigning for almost 6 months combined. But how many wrestlers did he defeat in title defenses during his reigns?
Oh my god. I've got absolutely no idea. I'm gonna the fact that this is a question, I'm assuming it's gonna be quite an obscure number. I'm gonna say maybe quite a low number, maybe 4, 5, 4, 4. I'll go with 4.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, go on.
1.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, he beat Owen Hart twice.
Oh, did he? Is that all?
Yeah.
What a shit champion.
I mean, he was best friends with Shawn Michaels, who was also a very shit champion.
Hey, we'll have no Sean slander here. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm not getting involved in this. I've lost my place already. How unprofessional. Right, Mr. Mags. X-Pac had 2 title reigns. Who did he beat to start both?
Oh, because this is, I'm sure I was going to put as a question about, I mean, you might have put it, but about title flip flopping, where one person beats the other, and this was part of the answer. So I know it's D'Lo Brown, but yeah, it's weird that come up, and I was going to come up with that question.
There we go.
And what's even weirder is the fact that Dan said it before the question was asked.
Dan using his wibbly wobbly timey wimey to pre-answer the question.
Dan Griffin in the chat answering the question before it's even been asked. That's some psychic shit, that is. Look at that. What are they putting in the water in York?
I want to know the lottery numbers then.
I'd just be happy to know the answer to the next question.
You're just a man of simple pleasures, aren't you?
I am, mate. I am.
I'm not sure if I should be offended now or not.
There's nothing wrong with simple pleasures.
Yes, be offended, Sharon. Be offended. And remember, I'm your husband and you're the quizmaster. Just keep that in the back of your mind.
Just because you're punching well above your weight, sir.
Very much so. And I've got a lot of weight to punch above, I'll tell you that.
Right. Mr. Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 3. Who was the European champion when the WWF became the WWE?
Oh, see, I think I know this. Is it Spike Dudley?
Is that a question or an answer?
Oh, see, now I'm thinking, was it Regal? No, I'm gonna go with Spike Dudley.
You are correct.
Yay. I'm so proud of myself.
Oh, simple things. So, Mr. Mags, question 3.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the last non-American European champion?
Non-American. So we like Canadian, because I think there's only ever 2 Europeans. It's got to be Regal, surely. Because it goes Dallas, Regal, Spark, Regal, Jeff, then Rob. So yeah, it's Regal.
You are correct.
Oh,
How can you reel that off from the top of your head like that?
I love this belt.
I love the belt. It's a beautiful looking belt. I just know jack shit about it.
Well, maybe you should. Maybe this should be a lesson to you, sir.
I'm getting taught a lesson. I am indeed. Oh, see,
You're still in there though. It's all, what is it? 3-2?
3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, you got 3 out of 3 so far. So if I get the next one wrong, mate, oof.
Dan Griffin, lottery numbers. You know, I'm gonna. Is 55 in the lottery? I don't think 55. Are you playing like an American lottery, Dan?
I thought you'd put S's there, actually, just trying to be funny. Those 5s, were they? Yeah.
I thought they were S's. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I need my eyes tested quite badly, I think.
The less said about that, the better.
Oh, this is my favourite question. Of all the questions, I love this question.
Oh, God. Go on, then.
Mr. Simon, Question
Mhm.
number 4. Al Snow had a 48-day run with the European title, where he would come to the ring dressed in various European stereotypical clothing. When representing Germany, he wore lederhosen and a string of bratwurst. But which famous person's photo did he carry with him?
Oh my god. I can't even picture. I can remember him being dressed in different guises, but I can't even picture the German one. And this is terrible because when you mention famous Germans, all I can think of is Hitler.
Can you imagine? I mean, that Vince would probably go for that.
I mean, that's heat. Oh my goodness. Was it Jurgen Klinsmann then? I don't know. That's just a wild. I don't know. I got no idea. No idea. Jurgen Klinsmann.
The answer is David Hasselhoff.
Oh my god! I thought Hasselhoff, and then I was like, no, he's not German.
Yeah, but he
Oh,
was a massive star. Germany absolutely loved him. The best one of Al Snow's costumes was the British one, when he come out with a picture of William Regal and he drew a monocle onto head, so she
Brilliant.
looked British.
Oh my god! I'm kicking myself now. Ah, never mind. Okay.
Never mind. Mr. Mags. Question number 4. Kurt Angle famously held the European and intercontinental titles at the same time.
Mhm.
Who are the other 2 wrestlers to have done this?
So it's Jarrett and D'Lo Brown. Well,
You
D'Lo
are
was actually.
correct.
I should have said D'Lo Brown first because he was the first one.
All right, sure.
You are correct.
I'm getting absolutely schooled here.
No, absolutely not. You didn't think you'd get any, and you've already got 2, so you've surpassed your expectations.
I have. That is true. That is
I
true.
mean, you can't win now, but you know.
Thanks, Shaf.
I was there trying to be Cannabis and Jazz out. You are a loser. Just remember that you have won.
Yeah. Come on, then. Let's get it over with.
Mr. Loser, question number 5.
Wow.
Brilliant.
Oh, I nearly deleted the message then. Shane McMahon retired the European title in April 1999, wanting to be an unbeaten champion. But what was unique about the way he won the title?
Again, I've got no idea.
Come on, you know this. You know this.
Do I?
You'll kick if you don't get this one.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Was it something silly like it was a DQ decision or something like that?
Are you asking?
Go on. Go on. Yeah. Via DQ.
Mr. Mags, would you like to explain?
He won it in a tag team match when he was
Oh, did he?
partnering with Kane against X-Pac and Triple H.
Oh, okay. So, right, okay. That's some proper weird WCW booking shit, that isn't it?
Yeah.
So
So X-Pac was the champion, and then
Yeah.
the title was on the line in a tag team match, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, like I said, some proper WCW shit, that is. You could have given me 20 guesses, I never got that.
Well, I thought. I mean, it instantly comes to mind for me, but then again,
No.
I do love the European title. So, and you're clearly not a fan.
Last one, then I suppose. Can it be that? I think this would be the first ever clean sweep.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
I'm feeling the pressure.
I am
Mr.
now.
Mags, question number 5. X-Pac defended the European title at the 1999 Royal Rumble, but against who?
Oof. I want to say China. I'm going to go with China. I don't know if that's right, but I'm going to go with China.
Is that your final answer?
It is, yes.
You are incorrect.
Oh, see, you put a hex on me.
Jinxed it.
It was Gangrel.
Oh, well, he should have
Yes.
been European champion.
Is Transylvania in Europe?
Well, it's Romania, isn't it? So
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I suppose it is then. Yeah, fair enough. So there we go.
And it's even on the title. There's the flag is there on the title as well.
Yeah, okay. All right. Magsy wins again. 4 questions to 2. So that is now 2-1 overall. There we go. And I told you I wasn't going to win this week because I know nothing. I mean, there's not even that much to know when you think about it. It was only around for a few years.
5 years. It's the 9th shortest lasting title in the history of the WWE.
Is it really? Okay.
Yeah.
What are the other ones?
So the hardcore, there's like the NXT UK titles, the NXT Cruiserweight title. The only other WWE ones are the 24/7 one. Then I think there's the Canadian heavyweight title, and then the Intercontinental Tag Team titles.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Look at Mr. Knowledge here, eh? What a clever little fucker you are,
Sorry. Being smart should not be something to be embarrassed about.
No, of course. There we go. Sharon, thank you so much for joining us again and being quizmaster once again.
You were amazing as always.
Thank you.
Same
very
time
much.
again in 2 weeks.
Yes.
See you in a fortnight, my love.
Bye.
I enjoyed that, Magsy, even though I got trounced.
You did really well, I think. I mean, getting 2 out of 5 with a topic you didn't know anything about.
Yeah,
that's really good going.
Oh, thanks, mate. Not as good going as yourself, obviously, but there we go.
Like I said, that was my cup of tea. So
yeah, interesting. Maybe we should get some people from the CWF shouting out possible topics for in a couple of weeks' time
and questions. Fire some potential topics and questions over.
Yeah, great shout. Obviously, not to both of us or in the chat because
in fact, send the questions to Sarah and send me the answers, and we'll work it out between us.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. No, but once again, thank you so much to my amazing wife Sharon for acting as quizmaster for us. Next week, Hall of Lame returns, and we will be back with Mags versus Sai again in a fortnight.
Yes, we will.
Shall we scan through the chat quickly before we get into a little bit of our non-wrestling topic?
Let's do it. I have to jump back. So we have got Scottish Danny turning up late. Not impressed with you, the Maidstone murderer. But he says, "Hey, your CWF." Mags is now Ric Flair's other head, making the same joke as Sarah, how far I have fallen. It's a new law for you, Griffin. It is a new law.
It's good. I get some company down here.
the one that does less thinking of both Ric Flair's heads. I don't think he thinks particularly with any of his heads. Connor back in the chat. Love some stone warnings. The worst has passed my area. Checking in on friends and family. Oh well, make sure you definitely stay safe, sir.
Yeah, look after yourself, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. And he also then says UK should be one. You've got England, Wales, and Scotland all in the UK, different flags. Yeah, but foreigners don't recognise the different flags. It's always the Union Jack in it when they talk about Britain. And Dan says one of them should be Mozambique. And he then also says Portugal was purely for Aldo Montoya, the Portuguese man of war himself.
With a pair of pants on his face.
Dan, after saying the D'Lo Brown question answer, says he's just too effing good, and then gives us the lottery number. So someone, probably not me, will put that lottery on and be a millionaire. And then Dan will be like, I am actually psychic, but poor. A poor psychic. Kings, please. Dan then says, Sai uses his pink eye Jedi powers to sack Mags out of a clean sweep. Yeah, that was a bullshit move, that.
Sorry, mate.
You petty child doing that. And King's Pig's Ladder loser. I
you
am
very
not. I am not going to crow because I'm sure next week's topic will be in Sar's wheelhouse, and I'll get absolutely trounced because I lost 4-1 last week. So that's still a terrible, terrible result.
Okay.
Cam Griffin says, "Bring back the hardcore title." You know, I used to love the hardcore title, and then they give it to Bradshaw, and he had a stupid bull's head on the title, and he ruined it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to do it in a sort of PG fashion with the 24/7, I suppose, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I don't know if the hardcore title would work nowadays.
Do you know that R-Truth is now, because of that title, a 53-time champion?
That's amazing. Because he's the best wrestler ever.
He overtook the last person who was the highest champion, Raven, who was something like a 28 times champion.
That'd be the hardcore belt, wouldn't it? He won loads.
No, world title, just 28 times world title, just very quickly in like a 2-week period when no one watching.
That's some real flip-flopping of the titles. That's real hot potato. Yeah. I know the NWA championship fell from grace, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Scottish Danny says, yes, Cam, with a video tribute to Crash Holly. Oh, yeah, Crash. He epitomizes the hardcore title, doesn't it? Crash Holly.
Yeah.
What a star he was. What a star. Cam Griffin says, Gilbert topic for the next Mags v side. You know, I bet that's manageable. Surely there's something happened on this date in 2 weeks. Wow. That Gilbert was involved in. So I bet we could do that.
Maybe. I mean, I think lining the date up is possible, but it does mean that between us, we've got to come up with 10 separate facts to question each other about Gilbert. Is there that many?
We can go for a 0-0 draw on a Mags v side where none of us know the slightest thing about Gilbert.
So Sharon will just be sat there looking at the questions like, are you two fucking serious?
So that's the chat all caught up.
Fantastic stuff. Again, awesome. Thank you everyone for joining us. Magsy, I suppose we should potentially just jump straight in with our non-wrestling.
Well, whilst you freeze, we shall do.
NWT.
And it doesn't decide to play.
NWT time. Oh! No wrestling talk here. It's the non-wrestling topic.
Lovely.
Nice. Lovely.
Nice. Oh, lovely.
Lovely.
A few technical difficulties, mate.
Yeah.
Don't
pause, then unpause, then unpause, then pause. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. This week's non-wrestling topic was inspired by a member of the CWF, Mr. Dan Griffin. He put a tweet out that said he bought curiosity, got the better of him, and he bought a bottle of the Blue Raspberry Prime, and he was annoyed at how much it cost him, and so on. Why would I don't get it?
How much did you pay? How much did you actually pay? Because I know that they're meant to be like £2 a bottle, but there's like a shop called Wakey Wines who's been mad all over TikTok, and they were selling them for like £25 a bottle.
Ridiculous.
And if you wanted the energy drink, what comes in a can, I don't think that's available yet in the UK, or not widely available, and they were selling them for £100 a can.
People are idiots.
Yes, they are.
It's just, oh my God. But anyway, this inspired our non-wrestling topic this week. And we're going to look at bargains, I suppose, things that people have bought or people can think of in regards to purchases or the sporting world or work or business or anything like that. And also rip-offs, I guess. Big wastes of money, Magsy.
Mm-hmm. We are.
We are indeed. So, as always, I will run through them in the order they arrived into us, roughly. And we will go through then now. Danny, first of all, at Scottish Juggalo on Twitter. Sorry, I was saying I glitched then. My screen glitched. Everything disappeared.
And then come back.
Yeah. Apart from the actual...
Must be something to do with StreamYard's software then.
Yeah, not the actual screen itself was fine, but everything around it. So all the little windows, the buttons in the chat just vanished and then came back.
Right.
And halfway through a sentence, obviously that distracted me, and I'm easily distracted. So that's why I had a little bit of a brain fart. But there we go. We begin with Scottish Danny at Scottish Juggalo on Twitter. He says, biggest bargain I've got recently is this. And there's a picture attached for those in the chat who can see. A rare VHS book set of The Exorcist. Really thought this was going to be expensive, but turns out it was under 20 quid. Fair enough.
That's awesome.
That looks quite cool, doesn't it, in that picture there?
It does, yeah. I mean, might struggle watching the film on VHS, but I'm sure Sar's got 4 or 5 VHS recorders in his shed that you can borrow.
Well, I've got one just up there, actually. I'm not even joking. I can see it from here. Dan Griffin, who inspired this topic, at Dan Griffin 21 on Twitter. He says, the best bargain I've ever had is a ticket to Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley in a box with as much curry as I could eat and as much booze as I could drink for 3. And, good value. 3.
I mean, you can't really get any better value unless you got paid to be there.
Yes, this is true. Dan continues, biggest rip-off weirdly resulted in meeting my hero. Paid £80 to meet Bret Hart, 60 quid for the pick, £20 entry fee to the venue. But the carny twat running it oversold to the point that £20 ended up being spent 2 hours plus queuing in high temperatures with no water. Still angry 6 months on. Yeah, that is annoying, isn't it?
Wrestling, I mean, things like that. Wrestling promoters are such wankers, aren't they? Such money-grubbing wankers.
Yeah, there's so many scumbags in this industry, isn't there? Graham, at MGB Graham on Twitter. He says, over a year buying named brands, the store brand is a fraction of the price. Okay. More interesting, though, was a folder of Baltimore Orioles. Is that? Cards?
A baseball team.
Okay. A pack of those that he bought on eBay recently. There's loads from the 60s that are extremely collectible, and he will talk about them on Good Bad Cards podcast at some point. # cheap plug. Hey, we're all about the cheap plugs, mate. Don't you worry about that. You get your shit in when you can.
if a plug is cheap, it's also a bargain, so that counts as 2 picks there for Graham.
There you go. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Look at that segue. God, we're good, aren't we? Cam at CamGriff92 on Twitter. He says, biggest waste ever seen was Dan buying Prime. What a knob. Oh, fantastic. The best bargain is a pair of Vans currently rocking at a whopping £5 from a Chaza shop. Charity, I'm guessing that is, yes?
Yep, I would assume so.
Or the cooker hood that he acquired years ago via human error at B&Q.
Oh, those kind of purchases are the best when you get something for free due to the company's error.
Yes. Cam also says, to note another on the big waist, when I worked down in Londinium, I needed a cut and beard trim before going for a meal. Walked in the nearest barbers to the site, close to Monument Station. No price list outside, but I was short on time. 58 quid. Still wounded to this day, Cam says. 58 quid, man.
For an haircut?
And a beard
58 quid. I am never going to financially if I came home and said to the wife, I've just spent 58 of the King's pounds on an haircut, I'd have a divorce in my hands.
I don't understand. I mean, it's not even. I just don't understand. I don't get it at all. But then I suppose I know
your own hair for 58 quid. Just cut your own hair.
I've not had a haircut not had to pay for a haircut. Sorry, for years. Yeah. Because Sharon's a hairdresser, isn't she? So.
And Lorraine's a care manager, but she still cuts my hair.
Fair enough. And how lovely it looks too.
With a hat on.
Yeah. Connor Knows Soccer at Connor Knows Footy on Twitter. And he has included a couple of pictures as well. So anyone listening on the audio version later in the week, you can check these out on the Chain Wrestling Twitter account at @chain_wrestling there. Connor says, best bargain had to be this beauty of an Emil Smith Rowe shirt that I bought myself for my 19th birthday this past summer. was on sale for half off, so it was only $150. Normally a $200 shirt. Up the fucking colours.
That doesn't seem like a bargain. That seems like a rip-off.
Also, how can it be £200 normally and then half off makes it $150?
I mean, that's nonsensical. But paying $150, which is what, about £120 for an Arsenal shirt, yeah, that's scandalous price.
That is a lot of money. That is insane amounts of money. There's somebody on Facebook that you can get replica shirts for £10. I mean, the club's names are spelt wrong and stuff.
you can get like classic shirts for way less than that, like retro ones. Jesus Christ!
That's
so
that
to Connor, he thinks it's a bargain, but to us, that's definitely a rip-off. And it's an Arsenal shirt as well. Jesus wept.
I mean, to be fair, the pictures, it does look like a nice shirt. It is a nice kit.
Yeah, I mean, it's an Arsenal shirt. What can you say? It's red and white.
Yeah, all right, then, fine. Connor continues. This next shirt was really more of a gift than a bargain. My mum works for the crew's main sponsor. It's Columbus Crew, isn't it? He supports.
Yeah.
The crew's main sponsor for the shirts. So they gave every employee their choice of a 3 shirt. And my mum got this one for me. Absolute beauty of a shirt. Bonus, it has my favorite Columbus player on the back. And that is a nice kit.
That's nice. And it's an actual bargain because you paid up $0 for it. So that's the bargain. The rip-off was the Arsenal shirt.
There we go.
Just letting you know. Just letting you know.
There we go. I like yellow and black football kits as well.
Yeah.
Gloucester City colours, mate. Well, it used to be.
Until they went under.
No, they haven't gone under. They've just changed their colours.
Okay. I mean, I'm just hoping that they went under.
Why would you hope that? What is wrong with you? Why would anybody wish that about any football club that has followers and supporters? And apart from Liverpool, obviously, they can get nothing in. Steve-O, at Total Steve-O on Twitter. He says here, firstly, off the top of my head, Greg's Donuts, specifically the caramel ones. Mate said they're incredible. A waste of £3.96. Just meh.
The crap.
£3.96 for a donut.
I think it's for 2, maybe.
That's still an expensive fucking donut, mind. £3.96 for 2.
Well, sorry, he's not going to Pound Bakery and getting like 4 for £1. He does live in that London.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's why Steve Ross shaves his head bald, because he's sick of paying 50 for an haircut.
He don't want to go where Cam goes and get it cut for 56 fucking quid.
He saw Cam complaining about it on Twitter and thought, yeah, fuck that, I'm not paying 58 quid.
Thing is, have you seen Steve-O's put together mind? Do you know what I mean? Steve-O looks like a wrestler. If he walked in, they wouldn't charge him 56 quid. They'd be like, you can have your haircut for nothing, mate. We're scared of you.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. He scares his own hair back into his head. That's like why he didn't ever need a haircut.
Brilliant. Steve-O continues. Betting, give or take, I put £10 to £20 worth of bets down each weekend, all 50p each. Don't get me wrong, across the season, I'd probably break even. But it's a mugs game, really. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't mind the odd bet here and there, but it's very, very rare now, really. But it used to just be like a 5 on the football sort of thing, Magsy.
Yeah, same with me. I've won some big amounts. We used to go to the races quite a bit. But yeah, the odd bet nowadays, like big sporting events. Yeah, I'm not a huge better.
Any boxing match, my sister bets round 7, just for it to finish in round 7.
And that's never happened in the history of the world.
I think there's been one occasion, and she'll screenshot her bet and send it me. Oh, lucky round 7, and I'm thinking, yeah, okay. And then the one time it happened,
not so lucky.
Over the moon. Yeah, there you go. but it's one of those things now. When you've done it enough times, you have to carry on doing it, because if it happens in round 7, you're going to be gutted.
Yeah, habit.
Yeah, exactly. Steve-O continues. £80 for a year's free access to London Zoo.
No, it's not free if it's 80 quid.
No, I don't think he means it's. I don't think it's £80 and you get in for 3, because that doesn't work. I think he means free access, as in you can come and go as you please.
Okay. Like just wandering off the streets kind of thing.
Well, yeah. Where else would you wander in from? Of course, it's off the streets.
Look.
No, what I mean is you can just 80 quid and you can just go in and out as much as you want, sort of thing,
Yeah, I got it, but it's just the wording. It said free access.
I don't think you
and
did.
Free
That was the problem.
and 80 quid.
Yes, 80 quid for a year's free access to London Zoo. In fact, most zoo memberships are incredible value, he says here.
Yeah.
I've gone in the past year at least 50 times. To put it into perspective, it costs 32 quid if paying individual. Wow. So it's 32 quid for like a one-off. That is insane, isn't it?
And he's if he's gone 50 times, he's paid what, £1.30 an entrant.
Can't argue that, mate. That's brilliant. That is brilliant value. Yeah, Steve, spot on there.
And it's brilliant going to the zoo. I love going to the zoo.
I haven't been to the zoo in years, man.
And because you won't get back out again, will you?
Why are you the way you are?
You made me this way.
I went to the what's the one where you're in your car and you're driving about, and don't say safari because it was in this country.
Yes, it is a safari park.
Okay, but I thought you had to be like there for it to be the safari.
No, we've got one up here in the north, like Chester Safari Park.
Okay, all right. I've been to one of those with my eldest daughter when she was very little, and one of my best mates, he took us out for the day driving around, and it was absolutely hysterical because monkeys tried to steal bits and bobs off his car, and then a rhino ran at us, and I've never heard a grown man make such a high-pitched squeal in my whole life as this rhino.
Did it tip the car?
No, it didn't.
Did it just speed off?
He was really scared. And my daughter thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really pick up on what was going on. But
Rhino running a car, haven't seen it.
No, exactly. Steve-O continues. Transport for London. Now the buses aren't too bad if you're using to connect with another, as within the hour, you don't have to pay on the next service. Oh, that's quite good then.
Oh yeah, that's an ingenious system.
Because I tend to, wherever I've worked in the last God knows how many years, I've always tended to have to catch 2 buses, so that works for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you not have like day rovers down your end?
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that if I didn't have those, that would be good, wouldn't it? You know?
Yeah.
The day riders are ridiculous, man. 4 quid a pop now.
I ain't got a clue how much they are. I think they're dearer for Burnley. I think they're about a tenner. I think they're about a tenner for a day rover.
Really?
Mm.
Who's the bus company? This is like absolutely riveting wrestling.
Stagecoach.
Oh, don't even start me off on them fucking people. I fucking hate Stagecoach, man.
Yeah.
I've got this real unhealthy obsession with like I just fucking hate them. They're just vile. But there we go.
Yeah. But you do get free Wi-Fi on the bus, so win-win.
Well, this is true. Steve-O says the underground having off-peak and on-peak is ridiculous, though. Costs me a tenner in and out to Central, and that's off-peak. Wow, okay. That is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, just get the bus then.
Well, yeah, I suppose. Steve-O says, I'm not much of a drinker. Once a year, I may divulge in social occasion, i.e. a birthday do, etc. But alcohol pricing, especially in London, is disgusting. £10 for a double vodka lemonade. Piss off.
That's ridiculous.
And you know it's going to be shit vodka as well. It's not going to be the good stuff, you know?
No, it's going to be Tesco's own brand vodka.
Like Commissar or something like that.
That's probably an actual vodka brand.
Yeah. They got Tsar vodka, C-Z-A-R, and Commissar, spelt with a K, just to make it look more Russian, I think. Yeah. And they are rough, mate.
Tenner for one drink.
That blows my mind. There's a Northwest bakery called Wenzel's. I think Bakey. There's a Northwest Bakey. He's put. I'm assuming he's trying to say bakery.
Well, as soon as he's talking about baguettes and pizza, I think it's.
Okay. For £4 and 5p, they do half a baguette. Oh yeah. Filled with pizza-style ingredients, like pepperoni, cheese, etc. It's great value, but if prices continue going up, I'll probably refuse. They were £3.50. And he says about inflation there as well. And yeah, everything's going up, man. It sucks. Absolutely sucks. KFC gravy mega box. I'm noticing a theme here with Steve-O.
Very, very food and traveling based.
Yeah, it is indeed. Well, I suppose you've got to go and get the food, hence the travel. But there we go. The KFC gravy mega box, incredible value. $4.99 milli fillet, piece of chicken, 2 hot wings and chips, bargain. Yeah,
And I assume some gravy.
Oh yeah, that's true. The WWE Network, as I once stated, apparently, if it wasn't for it, none of anything we're doing would be happening, and that's true. Without the WWE Network, these podcasts.
I mean, that's a blanket bargain. As much whether you like the WWE or detest it, for the amount of content on there for $9.99, it's unreal, unreal value.
Exactly. It's I love the WWE Network. It's great. Spotify, Steve-O says, I used to refuse to pay. Decided on the free trial and realized its value. Like the WWE Network, anything I want for $9.99.
Yep,
that's a fair shake.
Yep, I think we have the family deal. It's like 14 quid, something like that. But there's like 6 of us, all with our own Spotify accounts. Yeah, can't go wrong. Yeah,
exactly. He says, I'm sure there's more, but I'd be here all day. And then he said, I will add. Steve-O's like the CWF version of Columbo, isn't he? Just when you think he's finished, he turns around and goes, oh, one more thing. Nando's, before inflation, used to go regularly. Now I refuse. Prices have gone up, portion size gone down. Ludicrous. I've only had Nando's once, and I thought it was very, very nice.
Yeah, it's all right. Quite basic for me. But yeah, I don't mind it. I like the spicy rice that they do there. And so what flavor did you get your Nando's then? Because there's like heat levels.
I don't think I went hot, but I didn't go mild either. So is that like a middle one?
Well, I think there's 5. I went black, which is the hottest, and it wasn't really that hot.
Oh, get you.
Because I'm hard. Because I'm proper hard.
We went to a Nando's when we were on like our end of season, like football tour, the lads called it, but it's just a weekend away on the piss somewhere. And that's when we went to Nando's. That's the first and only time I've been there. And I know I wouldn't have got anything too spicy because I was drinking that night. But at the same time, I didn't go anything too mild either. But I enjoyed it from what I remember. It was a long time ago when I was shit-faced wine, but there we go. Ben, at Witticisms of Ben on Twitter. He says here, when my wife and I were looking at wedding reception venues, we had one in mind that we loved. But we weren't going to pay 12 grand for the privilege. 12 grand!
Ridiculous, isn't it? My son recently got married and he spent about 25 grand full toll on his wedding.
Blows my mind, mate. Absolutely blows my mind.
So me and Mrs. Mags, our wedding literally cost us about 150 quid.
Yeah, Sharon and I's weren't. It was more than that. But I think the registry office was. Sharon will have to let us know in the chat, but yeah, and we had a great day. It was awful. I did. I mean, she obviously has been regretting it ever since. But,
she can like pinpoint all the trouble in her life to that one day.
That was it.
This is where it went wrong. me and the wife, I proposed to her outside Blockbusters in Burnley, and then 2 weeks later, I said, "Shall we just go and get married now?" Didn't realize that you couldn't. You had to go and like put your name on a list to see if anyone else can prove that you're not legal to be married. So we had to wait another 2 weeks for that. So yeah, 2 weeks later, we were married in a registry office. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And she's regretted it ever since.
Proposed to her outside Blockbusters. Can you remember what you were renting?
No, we weren't going into Blockbusters. We was parking outside Blockbusters.
So you were using Blockbusters car park for another purpose than
it was street parking. It was street
parking. Oh, okay, yeah.
And we only had 20 minutes to park before we got a ticket. Right. So
it was like a quick. As to why Blockbuster got out of business, pal.
Well, no, they went out of business because they didn't sell to Netflix, or they didn't buy Netflix when they had the chance. So fuck Blockbusters.
Whoa, okay. Ben says instead of paying the 12 grand, they hired a village hall for 200 quid and had a party there. Yeah, that's the way.
Yeah,
To me, it's more about.
Yeah,
sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I bet he had better memories and a better time than he would have spending 12 grand.
Yeah. Ben also says, I love this. Ben says, also, once bought a pair of Nike trainers reduced from £80 to £2 because one of the tongues had ripped off. It was still in the box, so I bought them, sewed it back on, and boom. That's fantastic.
And I bet that Bangladeshi kid that saw it originally got whipped.
Ah, dear. Moving on. We have AB at official AB_POS, and they say biggest waste of time, money, and parts for repair. That goddamn PT Cruiser I bought used 6 years ago.
They're the cars that look like hearses, aren't they? Like mini hearses.
I don't know, are they?
Yeah.
I mean, in America, all cars are massive, though, aren't they?
No, these aren't massive. These were available in Britain. The Chrysler, yeah. But they do look like a hearse for a small person.
We're getting back to that, are we? A hearse for a small person.
Yeah, like don't rent out a full hearse if you're only 3 foot when you're going to fit in a PT Cruiser.
You could just get, if it is literally for a small person's funeral, you could just get like a black ladder estate or something, couldn't you? That'd do the job.
Oh, wow. A mini clubman.
AB says, paid more in repairs than the car itself cost. Stupid New Hampshire and their lack of lemon laws. I have a stable Honda now and feel much better. I didn't know what lemon laws were, but they explained it's to do with
when you've been sold a lemon.
Yes, and they can go back for like X amount of days. Yeah, okay. Ja at Yamallright on Twitter says, was visiting family in Australia in the early 2000s. The Ashes was on, so got a test match pass at the Wacker. Is that right, Mags?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is that? Is that like the venue?
Yeah.
Okay. Was something like $25 for every day of the test. It was over in 3 because England was shit, but it's still great value. This country is such a rip-off for sporting events and gigs. Oh, is it ever?
Yeah, it is ridiculous.
Absolutely insane. We'll get onto that in a moment. But yes, and finally on Twitter, unless I have missed any out, Magsy, we have at Pigs Bladders. And they say, not an individual purchase, but it's the one bonuses of working in retail. When it's you doing the reductions in store and you get first pick of the bargains at stupid prices.
I knew that retail people did that. The snads, absolute snads.
I didn't actually work for a retail company, but I was security guard for a while, going back into I was like 20, something like that. And the ladies who worked in the shop used to come over to me and say, we're about to reduce the stuff. It's going down to 10p if you want to come have a look first. And
you went, nah, don't, just put it all in my locker and I'll give you the quid later on.
Mate, steaks, whole chickens, everything, banging stuff.
Oh, it's so good when you're going around, like say, Tesco or Asda, and you stumble upon like a steak or a full joint of meat, and it's like a quid. It's like Christmas. It's absolutely like Christmas.
Or when they changed packet size, the packet sizes, and the old packet goes for 10 pence to clear. Small pleasures, Pigs Blinder says here. Yeah, I've never encountered that, but it's a similar sort of principle, I guess, Maxie, isn't it?
Yeah, absolute bargain. Absolute bargain.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. So there we go. That is everything I got from Twitter, I think, Mags.
Yep, I think we've covered everyone.
What about your good self, buddy? Any bargains or rip-offs that you can remember or anything like that?
So I'd like to kind of piggyback off one that Dan mentioned about the Klitschko fight that he got in for free. One of my wife's relations, their boyfriend at the time, he owned a plumber's merchant, and he was doing some like a business kind of like, I don't know what, just like a perk of the people he dealt with in the plumbing trade was he got some tickets to the Reebok Stadium in Bolton, but in the executive boxes. So I ended up like skanking one of these tickets off him, and yeah, we ended up watching Bolton versus Blackburn, which is not the best match. I couldn't give a shit about the football, but yeah, everything was laid on. Absolutely everything. It was an amazing day, and I watched maybe 30 seconds of the football. Yeah,
Brilliant.
All laid on. It was brilliant. In terms of rip-off, the one that always sticks with me, and I am still angry about it to this day. So one Christmas, I thought it would be a good idea to save on all the cleaning and the cooking for I'll take the family out for lunch on Christmas Day, so I didn't have to do any of the prep or any of the cleanup afterwards. Worst decision of my life, because
Was it really?
with it being Christmas, you're paying a premium. Obviously, people are there working on Christmas Day, so you're paying through the nose. I think for the 5 of us, we ended up paying about 300 quid. The main was fine. Turkey dinner. It was the pudding that annoyed me. So I'm the only person in this house that likes Christmas pudding.
I like Christmas pudding.
Oh, Christmas pudding is the best. Absolutely the best. So I'm the only one who ordered it. Everyone else got like, I think there was profiterolles for the wife and maybe kind of like jam roly-poly and custard for the kids. Their puddings all come and they looked amazing. Absolutely amazing. Man come and it was a huge bowl, like a really big bowl. I'm like, yes, win here. The waiter put it down on the table and it was the smallest little Christmas pudding, like a size of a 50 pence in the middle of this massive bowl. It looked like an island because it was just like coated in like the white Christmas sauce, and then just this tiny little Christmas pudding floating. I was fucking fuming, absolutely fuming.
But they argue, don't they, that you should only have a tiny bit because it's so rich. But
Well, they can argue that all they want.
Yeah, I don't buy that shit.
I paid 300 quid. I wanted a Christmas pudding. It was 2 spoonfuls. That's how tiny it was.
My goodness.
Yeah, so that's that. I will remember that till my dying day, paying that stupid money, and I've never gone out for Christmas dinner since.
I bet that's insane. That is insane. Mine probably a lot music related, gig related, I guess. You know, I saw a couple of bands that one band I was massively into were the support act for. Do you remember Lordi, who won Eurovision? Yeah. They toured the UK just after they'd won Eurovision, so they'd been on the telly and all that sort of stuff and been around for a few years. And I was massively into a band called Turasas, who do a fantastic cover of Boney M's Rasputin in a crazy Viking metal style. It's quite funny.
Really?
Yeah, it's great. I'll send you a link. Dan Griffin's heard it as well to do with the Doctor Who shows. It's brilliant. But they were the support act, and Lordi were on the bill as well. And it cost me £8.50 to get in. And I thought this was 2007, 8 maybe.
That's a banging deal.
Yeah, fantastic show. Really, really good. At the same gig as well, they were doing shots of Jaeger for £1. So I'm not I'm not a massive Jaeger fan, but it was for £1, you know. Bear with me just 1 second. My daughter's just passing me a drink. Do you want to say hi, Charlie? Quicker than that, then. There you go. Hello, Charlie. Thank you very much.
A random arm.
The random arm sticks in the screen. That's going to work really well on the podcast version. Yeah, £1 a shot for the Jaeger. That was fantastic. I enjoyed that until I threw up down the back of a lady in front of me when we were going down the stairs, but that's a different story.
Yeah, Jaeger is brutal for that. The first time I ever drunk it, I got it for a Christmas present off a family member. And being the clever arse that I was, I thought, oh, this is all right. I can drink this straight from the bottle. Half an hour later, a bit of fresh air, and yeah, I was wrecked.
It's not even
Absolutely.
that nice.
and that night, I ended coming home very, very early. Like say 8 o'clock early with the wife, and I'm fast asleep, and the wife is getting phone calls off the rest of the family. Come out. No, I can't. I've got to look after him. He's absolutely wrecked. So I ruined her night out by getting mortal on the pre-drinks of Jägermeister. Yeah.
A couple of Iron Maiden stories. Maiden used to always keep their prices very reasonable, and that was a big thing that they were happy to do and made public they were doing it. I went to the NEC and saw Maiden on, I can't remember what tour it was. And again, the ticket was like 35 quid to see Iron Maiden in an arena when everyone else was charging 50 plus at this time, which is brilliant.
50 would be cheap now. The prices are scandalous.
Yeah, now it's disgusting.
Ticketmaster are the devil when it comes to music.
Then when I went to the bar and asked for, again, this is going back quite a few years, I asked for a lager. She literally took a can out of a 4-pack marked £4.89 for the 4, poured it into a plastic beaker for me, and asked for a £5.
So those other 3 cans were pure profit.
Yeah, absolute nonsense. That was absolutely nonsense. Wasp as well. Wasp are one of my favourite bands. I'll see them as much as I can. Like they're coming through the country again the end of March on their 40th anniversary tour. See them God knows how many times. And because it's the 40th anniversary tour, they're running a meet and greet with the main guy, Blackie Lawless. And he never does anything like this. He's never done this sort of thing before. He's quite notorious for not being the easiest going, I suppose, with general members of the public. He's very private as well. He's very, doesn't do many interviews and so on. And this meet and greet was absolutely superb, the package. They've already done it in the States and they brought it over here. It's a very small select number that are available. You get to sit down in a room and just have a chat with Blackie, ask questions and all this sort of stuff. You then get to go and have your picture took with his bass guitar that he plays on stage and has played on some of the records.
Not your picture took with him.
Oh yeah, you get a picture
with his
him
guitar.
As well. Yeah, you get a picture took with him as well. And then he's got a microphone stand that is called Elvis, and it's a massive big skeleton thing that's spring loaded that swings around the place. And like you get your picture took with Elvis. And you get a voucher for the merchandise stand that works out as like a couple of t-shirts worth and all it. Absolutely huge, awesome. Huge. Best part of 300 quid though, mate.
It sounds like it's worth it though.
Well, yeah, I could never afford it, which is a shame. But there we go. Yeah, so yeah, that's kind of it for me. But music and drinking tends to be the ones that drop in for me, really, when it comes to pricing.
There is a theme.
Yeah, there is. Shall we have a little look through the chat? Because I know if people have been dropping their bargains or rip-offs, Magsy.
We shall. Firstly, we'll go back to the topic for maybe one of the next week's and one of the fortnights of wrestling. For some reason, it's not Lemish or the comments. So anyway, I have to read them off. So Dan Griffin says the DDT Iron Man heavy metal weight title has a great history. Shinobu has had 216 reigns, culminating in a total reign time of 8 days. Is that I think that's the title that Jack the Jobber from Cultaholic has also held as a champion. Sharon says, don't ask Liam how much he paid for a bottle of Prime. It is now letting me click on him for some reason. Cam says there's a shop in Manchester.
Sorry, Magsy, I don't remember what actually he did pay for a Prime. Sharon, can you say in the chat what I think it might be over a tenner.
Jesus. So Cam says there's a shop in Manchester on his way to the office that has bottles for a tenner. Tenner for and it's just sugar water. That's literally all it is. Sugar water. Dan says these only cost him £2.40, but it was still a rip-off. Scottish Danny says his neighbour paid 16 quid. I was blown away and disgusted. And King's Pigs Brothers we've just put signs up to say we don't sell Prime. Fair play.
Where is it? I think it's Sainsbury's, isn't it? Pigs Brothers works.
I think so, yeah. It's posh. Cam says Frank Bruno and Peter Andre were in the box next to us for the Klitschko fight. Great night I had there. And Dan agrees, saying hell of a night, weren't it?
That's a weird. Can you imagine walking into that and sitting down for a drink with Dan, Cam Griffin, Peter Andre, and Frank Bruno? That's quite an odd combo, isn't it?
Know what I mean, Harry? Ho, 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 ho.
That's the worst Peter Andre impression I've ever heard.
Scottish Danny says that's bargain at London prices. Yeah, ridiculous. I would not want to live in London. Ridiculous. Sharon says, Jeebus, she's undercharging people. So, yeah, I mean, could you get away with charging 58 quid in Gloucester for an haircut? Might be pushing it, but chance your arm. Cam says his haircut looked decent, but it was probably the cheapest around. And then he says the Greg donuts are immense. They're all right. They're donuts. I mean, it's hard to mess up a donut, but they're not anything to write home about.
So if I go to a bakery, it's all about the cream cakes for me, mate.
Not a massive cream cake fan. The yum-yums. I don't mind the yum-yums.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
Connor says he's been looking at the classic football shirts website, but he doesn't think they do any US shipping. Looking to add a few retro kits and possibly look at him creeping. That new Burnley kit, yeah, the new Burnley kit is actually really nice, to be fair. It's better than the Arsenal one. Scottish Danny says that the donuts are immense. Greg's has just opened about 2 minutes walk from my building. Life is good. That's amazing. That is amazing. Cam says the York City alternate kit for this season is pretty decent and doubt there will be any on the other side of the pond, but Dan can vouch for its beauty. And Cam also says that having a Greg's near your building is dangerous.
Yeah, very much
dangerous
so.
For your waistline, absolutely. Sharon puts you in your place by saying it was West Midlands Safari Park. So it was a safari park.
Yeah, okay.
And then Cam agrees with me. Extra hot Nando's and get the extra hot sauce bottle for dippage. I'm sure in the cupboard I've got a bottle of black Nando's sauce, but it's hot. It's spicy, but it's not the hottest thing I've ever had. Okay. Connor says he keeps telling he's better off that they're having a small wedding and reception with all their friends and family, but every time I bring it up, he just rolls his eyes, and I have a feeling he will get his way. And to clarify, I'm not engaged yet. A few years away from that, we just talk about these things. That's cute. That's the cute part of it. But wait until the bills are coming in and you're paying thousands of pounds for catering. Yeah, it stops being cute then.
Me and Sharon just went after we got married. We the pub that our football club used to operate out of. We went back there for a bit and had a few drinks with the people who came and basically said, if you want to eat, buy your own food.
Yeah, exactly.
So
not wrong with that. That sounds like a real deal. Yeah. Bar snacks on tap, essentially.
That's it, yeah.
Dan says the best thing about working in retail is taking advantage of the reductions. Fuck all those vultures, customers circling. And Kingpin's banner says he likes to see him circle as he gathers all the goods. Then just before he starts to reduce, he takes it all out of the bag. And I bet they're all there waiting at the door. Yeah, I hate that aisle in our supermarket. You'll go past like the milk and the cheese, and then the reduced aisles there, and you think it's going to be hectic, and it always is. Like people farting over each other to see how much you can save off a packet of sausage rolls. Ridiculous.
Hey, sausage rolls, a sausage roll, mate.
Well, yeah, especially if it's like 8 pence.
Yeah, exactly. Cost of living crisis and all that.
Exactly. Cam says, me and Dan once did a bottle of Jaeger on holiday. Next day was the mother's birthday, and we were both very, very broken.
Amazing.
Dan adds, you woke me up saying I slept through the full morning and I jumped out of bed in a panic, you bastard. Brilliant. Going back to Sharon, she said that one of her best bargains is to be a Michael Kors bag, £5 from a charity shop. When me and the wife used to go to Turkey quite a lot, and she would always come back with a Michael Kors bag from Turkey, and it was about 30 lira, which is about 8 quid. So, yeah, absolutely. Great bargain.
Sharon, when she got that bag, says that there was somebody else there eyeballing it as well. And Sharon got there first, which I think is awesome because this woman apparently was a bit rude. But yeah,
you can just imagine Sharon pulling out the father and then like that to the person.
Yeah, but the value of that exact bag is far, far, far higher than what she paid. Yeah, absolutely brilliant find.
Yeah. So reminder of that every time she wants an expensive present. Say, well, you've got one. That ridiculous Michael Kors bag.
I'll give you a tenner. You can go in the charity shop stuff.
Get two. Get yourself two Michael Kors bags this time.
Go on.
Sharon says she's never had a Jaeger bomb. All those years running a football club, and she dodged that one. Well, round these parts, we do Benny bombs, which is just disgusting. Benedictine and energy drink. Yes, horrific. Connor agrees that Ticketmaster and the Devil's Mum bought good seats, second deck behind the net at News Crusader, and 50 quid a ticket, and after taxes, fees, rounded the price up to 200. Jesus Christ. I think Taylor Swift has taken Ticketmaster to court, or Taylor Swift's fans, because they've started doing something called dynamic pricing, where if the tickets are in a well sought after, the price flies up due to demand. And they were charging like $1,200 for a Taylor Swift concert, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
The most I've paid for a non-festival ticket, I think, was either AC/DC or Guns N' Roses, and it was AC/DC I saw at Wembley, Guns N' Roses I saw at the Olympic Park where West Ham play, and both of them were over. I want to say both of them were over 110 quid. I can't remember. I think it was like 115, 120, and that sort of ballpark, you know. And it sounds like a lot, but don't get me wrong. I had the time of my life. Absolutely fantastic. But it's not the sort of thing I can just go, oh yeah, I'm going to see AC/DC again.
Yeah.
It's like it's altering for months trying to sort that out. So
it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And what annoys me the most is the resale site. I think it's called Get Me In. Is owned by Ticketmaster, so they resell, like, people who buy tickets and then they resell on Ticketmaster site. So they double dip, and then they can basically price to what they want. Yeah. Their monopoly on music tickets is scandalous. King's Pig Plaza says he's never had Jaeger either. You are not missing out. Imagine drinking alcoholic medicine. That's literally what it is. It's not nice. And he confirms that he works in Sainsbury's, so very posh. La-da-da. I once walked into a Sainsbury's, saw the price of a tin of Heinz beans, and just turned the trolley round, put it back, and walked out. Honestly, it was
over a tin of beans.
It was ridiculous price. Dan Griffin said 4 horsemen right there: me, Cam, Peter, Andrew, and Frank Brew. So which one of you is Ollie and which one is Arn? I'm gonna say Dan is Ollie.
And you know that King's Pig's Bladders is going to have that knocked up in an image very soon. Those 4 as the horsemen.
That'd be amazing. Frank Bruno. Who would he be? Tully?
Frank Bruno. Yeah, maybe. No, he's like the enforcer, and he'd have to be Iron.
Yeah, because Peter Andre is the good-looking one, so he'd have to be Flair, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I guess so.
And
yeah, so who does that leave?
Around a bit as well. So Dan has got to be Ollie Anderson. It's got to be.
Yeah.
He looks like the son of Ollie Anderson now.
Fair enough.
So that means poor Cam is bummed out with Tully. Or it could be Paul Roma.
No.
Or Steve McMichael.
Yeah, we don't mind Mongo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't mind Mongo. Looking at him at the moment in Nitro Night's a great deal. So yeah, it's interesting watching him wrestle. I'll tell you that.
Wrestle. Sharon says it was the woman at the till that was rude and pissed off that I got it. Oh, so she wanted it, and she was like hoping if no one gets that by the end of the day, that's coming home with me.
Brilliant stuff.
Dan said he's just sent the York City shirts to the Chain Wrestling DMs.
Yes, I can show them here. It picks it up. There's one.
Oh, that is nice.
Quite nice. And I'm guessing this is the away shirt. Is that
very,
right?
very Newcastle?
Yeah, Yeah, they're quite tidy. Not as nice as Gloucester City's jerseys, but there we go.
So King's Prince Badger says, you don't mind paying for a festival because it's value for money. Yeah, I mean, that's right. Unless it's like Glastonbury or Reading, Leeds, they can sometimes be a bit ridiculous priced.
Download this year, for example, it was probably coming up to now 250 quid. So again, it's 5 days of music now, or whatever, 4 days of music. Metallica are playing twice, and so that's amazing, but it's still a ridiculous amount of money. You know?
Yeah, I think the best value festival that we've been to was, I'm sure it was Bingley, and I think we paid like 30 quid for a weekend ticket. It was just banging weekend.
Stone Dead that I go to every year. That's 50 quid. That's your camping. Friday night in the arena. It's all day Saturday. Take your own drink in. Fantastic, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. King's Pig Brother says it's £1.40 for a tin of meat. Yeah, Hain's prices are fucking ridiculous. Just scandalous pricing.
All about the Branston for me, mate.
Yeah, Branston means we're a Branston household. Definitely a Branston household. Dan Griffin says, I'll take being all Anderson, miserable, tough old bastard. Yeah, and he actually plays a part in the wrestling that comes up. So that's a lovely segue. But we will end on this. Cam Griffin refuses to be Mongo.
Oh, there's been some brilliant bits on Nitro Nights with Mongo, mate. Absolutely fantastic. But that is a different show for a different time. But speaking of Mongo, WCW, Ole Anderson, and all that stuff, that kind of links us into Ric Flair and our wrestling topic for this week, Magsy, doesn't it?
Well, not really, but let's say it does.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to rumble!
This week, I won a poll. Amazing. I didn't even have to, stoop to the levels of picking a shitty film. But there we go.
What you did put the poll out very late as well.
Yes, I
So
did. And
there
do you know
is
what with that as well? The amount of time. I'll tell you what's weird, to be fair. That poll went out incredibly late and got twice as many votes as the one last week that I put out early.
And I noticed that as well. Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with this week's poll, I regularly said to Sharon over the weekend, shit, I need to put the poll out. I keep forgetting. And I must have said that to her maybe 5 times before I actually did it.
It's horrible getting old when you forget shit.
Yeah, I don't even think it's just my age. I don't even think it's my age, mate. I think it's always been this way. But there we go. The winner of this week's poll, as I said, was me. And we are heading back to 1985 to Starrcade, the Gathering, and seeing one of the hottest.
What a horrible name, though,
Yeah.
for a pay-per-view. The Gathering.
Yeah. It's not. I know it's not what Gorilla Monsoon used to say, but it does make me think of Monsoon, because Monsoon used to always say everything was a happening, didn't he?
It just reminded me of like Highlander 2, the Quickening.
Oh yeah.
Well, Starrcade 3, the Gathering.
The Gathering, the Quickening, the Happening. Possibly one of the hottest angles Jim Crockett Promotions have ever done with regards to Dusty Rhodes and having his ankle broken, being out for months, and then of course cutting that infamous, fantastic Hard Times promo, which it's fun. It's so good. It's so good.
If there's one thing you could nitpick is that he thinks that people who in the car business and the auto business are not the same person. But yeah, what a great promo though. Yeah, just solidified that he was a man of the people.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole, if you're listening on the podcast audio version later in the week, you'll probably get a clip of that in here at some point, whether it's in the intro or now. But just to briefly summarize for those who haven't heard it, if you haven't heard it, I can't believe that for a start, because it is fantastic. But it's very much a case of talking about, Dan Griffin in the chat, aren't Gloucester jerseys repurposed bin bags? No, they are not, you fucking asshole. And the Hard Times promo talking about he's injured, he couldn't work, he's put hard times on the Rhodes family. He can't go out and earn money and provide for his family and all this sort of stuff. Just absolutely brilliant. Like you said, Magsy, a real sort of call to arms for the common man in a way, wasn't it? Against the Ric Flair persona of this limousine riding guy who had all the money and the fur coats and the jewelry and so on, wasn't it?
Yeah, the jet flying, limousine riding, like superstar, and Dusty was the son of a plumber.
He was.
So,
He was indeed. That does lead to an incredibly hot crowd for anything Dusty Rhodes does during this match. They are firmly in his corner, Magsy, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. From the second that he stood at the entrance of ramp and his music hits, the crowd are just ravenous for him.
Yeah, and it's so charismatic, Dusty Rhodes. And you think this is 1985, so we've had the first WrestleMania at this point, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
You look on the other side, then, shall we say, the other side of the divide, the WWF. Hogan is their main guy, and that's all built on charisma as well. He wasn't a particularly talented in-ring competitor in comparison to the likes of, say, a Ric Flair or whatever. But you look at Dusty, charisma carried him for everything. I mean, the guy was a decent wrestler. He wasn't spectacular, but he was a decent wrestler. Yeah. But charisma and likability carried him through everything.
Yeah.
Just imagine what might have happened. And I'm not digging the guy out about the way he looks. I'm a fat bloke myself. But if he was put together more like a Hogan or even a Flair or whatever, and then went to the WWF with that charisma, he could have been something even bigger than what he was, I think, couldn't he? With the WWF machine behind him, maybe?
I mean, you can look at it like that, or you could look at it the opposite way, that the fact he looked like a bloke rather than a Greek god wrestler chiseled out of granite. That was his appeal. His appeal wasn't that it was like I said, he wasn't the best wrestler. He was adequate in the ring, but his appeal was he was charismatic, but also he was human. He wasn't a superhero. He wasn't larger than life in terms of physical attributes. So I don't know if I don't think being in the WWF was ever going to work for Dusty, just because of how petty Vince McMahon is.
Yeah.
When he was brought in and he was given the polka dots and things like that, it was to embarrass the person who'd been a thorn in the WWF side for so long. So whether he was a chubby bloke or whether he looked like a Ric Flair, I think he was always going to be tarred by a WWF run.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, you mentioned there about him being a thorn in the side of Vince McMahon and the WWF and so on. For those unaware, again, I assume everybody is, Dusty wasn't just a main event guy in Jim Crockett Promotions, in the NWA and so on. He was also the booker.
He was
for
a
massive
baby.
He was for long periods of time. And whereas sometimes we would get absolute gold and lightning in a bottle captured with how certain storylines and angles would work and build up to certain events and so on, there was also plenty of occasions where the finishes would let us down, and also Dusty maybe hung around certain title pictures far too long. And
I get that. I mean, that's why we get the wrestling adage of the Dusty finish. It's a finish that is convoluted, or you don't get a definitive winner. It's some sort of shenanigans. It's always linked to Dusty, and is sometimes out of the box thinking in terms of booking. But yeah, you're right. I mean, with him being in the title picture, I think a lot of that was him holding his spot, which is a thing that the 80s and 70s wrestlers did. But also, he was the star. It isn't like wrestling nowadays or in the Attitude Era where there were lots and lots of huge stars. He was one of those on the pedestal, I suppose. So it wouldn't have sold as much if he wasn't around the main picture. And Sai is so disgusted with my talking about about how Dusty should have stuck around the picture that he's left the chat. I'm assuming he's going to be coming back. If not, anyway. So I've never seen this match before now. Shock horror. But I think it was the third Starrcade. No idea what the arena was, so we'll have to wait till Sar decides to come back for that. But yeah, Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes. I mean, these are two of the biggest stars, not only of that era, but of wrestling in general. And yeah, the crowd were very, very hard for this. One thing I noticed, Sai's back, but eventually there he is. And now he's gone. Hello.
I am back. Fucking internet pisses me off. I am now running off my mobile phone's data, so I may have a bit of a delay, but there we go. Hopefully that'll be a little bit more reliable than the internet itself.
Fingers crossed. So I was essentially just introducing the match. I don't know the arena or the attendance. I don't do those kind of facts that you do. So if you can spill the beans on that.
Well, there was two. For Starrcade 85, they ran out of two different arenas. And the attendance combined was apparently 30,000 it was given across the two arenas in Atlanta, and the Greensboro Coliseum was the other one. I believe this event came from Greensboro.
Yeah, because there's interviews and it shows the Greensboro Coliseum sticker on the wall.
And the Omni had a couple of steel cage matches on the top of their card, and we sort of went back and forth between the two arenas for the pay-per-view. Yeah, and that's how it was kind of structured and so on. Similar, I suppose, to the way WrestleMania 2 happened the following year. Yeah, this was
it's almost November, like that idea was stolen, maybe.
Yes, yeah, there we go. But again, we were talking before my internet sort of shit the bed about Dusty. His booking would sometimes do as much harm to the product in certain moments as it would do good to the product. Here, I think we get a little bit of both with what happens after the match, but we can get into that after we sort of, run through what happens during the match, Mags, I suppose.
Let's do it.
We start very much with slaps and chops and so on between the two. And again, it comes back to how much the crowd love Dusty, because every time he hits Flair, they go wild, Magsy, don't they?
I mean, even before any punches are thrown, Dusty does a little strut, and the crowd are just mental for it.
Yeah.
And you have Ric Flair just stood there staring daggers through Dusty. And yeah, the crowd just eating this all up, and it starts as like a typical Ric Flair kind of like Jerry Lawler style match, where for the first few minutes nothing is happening, but the crowd are on the feet because they just absorbed into this storyline. It's classic kind of. If you think you're working too slow, slow down even more style wrestling.
Yeah. And again, I keep saying all the time on the various shows that I'm involved in, it says wrestling on the poster, and that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
But here, don't get me wrong, I think the in-ring action is more than functional. I think it's enjoyable, which we'll get to in a moment. But the story is what's created that atmosphere.
Yeah.
The sheer hatred for Flair. These two characters are complete different ends of the spectrum that they're trying to portray, and the story of Dusty getting injured the way he did and so on, absolutely superb.
Yeah, and I think the way you can tell that a wrestling storyline is working is when somebody who has never watched this match or who wasn't very knowledgeable about the storyline can get invested. So I didn't, and obviously I knew that Ric Flair and Dusty had a very storied rivalry, but I didn't know the kind of intricacies of it. but I got invested in this match because of Dusty's charisma, because of Ric Flair's wrestling prowess. Yeah, it was great storytelling in the ring. The wrestling is it's like you said it's very serviceable. It's passable wrestling. It's nothing kind of outstanding. There's a lot of rest holds and a lot of submission based wrestling. A lot of focusing on injuries, but it's just great storytelling. Absolutely great storytelling.
Yeah, so I think the storytelling aspect applies to what goes on in the ring as well. You mentioned like working on the injuries and so on. Dusty's obviously got this broken ankle. It was in September. He had his ankle broken by Flair, and what would become the Four Horsemen. At this point, the Four Horsemen didn't actually officially exist.
Well,
but
I think this is one of the catalysts that
yes,
helps create the Horsemen, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. And Flair's obviously going to target that ankle. But before we get to that point in the match, we have these chops and slaps and punches that the crowd are going wild for. And Flair just he just goes for a walk.
Yeah.
And it's the simplest of things, but the crowd are baying for blood even more so when Flair has walked away, because Dusty's not getting his hands on him anymore. It's so simple, but so effective.
And then when he is back in the ring, the crowd are enthralled again just by Dusty hitting an elbow, and the crowd go mental. I mean, you couldn't picture that in modern day wrestling, where a simple strike would have the crowd roaring with anger. It is really interesting just how invested these wrestling crowds were in the mid 80s, especially when you've not watched a lot of Jim Crockett promotions, and you go back and watch it 30 years after it happened, and these fans they're mental fans.
Oh, I guess we're kind of approaching 40 years, aren't we?
Exactly.
This is an old show, yeah. We get a mention by Tony Schiavone on commentary that it's the 40th, I think they said 40th anniversary, didn't they, of Jim Crockett Promotions? Yeah. And to say thank you to the fans, they're going to run a show on Christmas Day, which was normal. Jim Crockett Promotions always ran Christmas Day shows, and it was a tribute to the fans, a thank you to the fans, and you could get in at their Christmas Day show for $3.
Yeah, I mean, is that a bargain in them days? Who knows? One thing I did notice, and it's a good link to you bringing up Schiavone, the commentary was shit in this match, weren't it?
Bob Caudle, the other guy, I believe.
I mean, you didn't hear Tony or Bob hardly at all. I mean, you listen to modern day or fairly modern day commentary, and you have your play by play who's explaining what's going on in the ring, and then you have your color adding like the quips. You had none of that at all. It was there was literally minutes of action going by where there was no commentary whatsoever. Nothing was said. It was jarring. It was almost like watching a wrestling match with the sound off.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Schiavone, I'm a big fan of, but I think in '85 for Jim Crockett Promotions, it's very much a case of they're not moving. I mean, Jim Crockett Promotions famously didn't move with the times, and that's kind of what killed it. You know, financially there was issues, of course, and so on, but they didn't move with the times of certain aspects, like a lot of the territories didn't, and so on. Like that's what Varan Gagne had problems with the AWA and so on as well. And the commentary, I think, is a really big part of that.
Yeah,
I think they have guys there that are incredibly well respected because they've done it for so long. But maybe it's time for those guys to shuffle off a little bit. Potentially, because the commentary feels older than 1985. Yeah. You know, it feels more dated, maybe.
Yeah, I think the whole production feels dated for 85. Yes. Like you said, WWF had essentially changed the game, changed the way that wrestling was shown to the people. It was bright, it was colourful, it was well lit. This was was not. It was drab. It was dark.
Yes.
But it was still also Dusty versus Ric Flair, which is the selling point.
Yeah, I mean, we looked at a match from WrestleMania 1, didn't we? Very recently on the show. And it is completely different, the way it's lit. And, that was quite dark in places as well at Madison Square Garden, don't get me wrong. But compared to this, it was like a fucking disco. It was really well lit. But also, I watched a bit more of the show than just the main event. The show opens with the singing of the national anthem. When that gets played, I mean, there's no one there singing it. They're actually just playing it over the PA system. When that gets played, there's no lights at all. I'm looking at a black screen. For some reason, they turn the fucking lights out.
It wouldn't work in modern wrestling at all. I also watched a little bit more of the show. I watched the Crusher Khrushchev interview because Barry Darsow became the Mid-Atlantic champion, which was amazing.
There you go. Good old Barry. Both guys exchange hammerlocks before Ric Flair kind of takes control of the match for a period. We get the knee drop that Flair kind of coined, I suppose, after watching Harley Race do it for quite a few years. And Triple H went on to use it himself as well, didn't he? That sort of running roll knee drop kind of thing.
He hasn't added the roll in this one. It's just literally just a drop. Yeah.
Dusty eventually gets sent to the outside, and here is the first sign of some selling for the broken ankle because he's limping after he's hit the floor, isn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't just get sent to the outside though, not by ringside. He literally is out in like a part of the arena, like beyond the safety fence, which is. Yeah, he did a brilliant job of selling the ankle. I think one of the first strikes that Ric Flair gets, he touches the ankle and Dusty gets out of the clinch straight away because he doesn't want any risk to that ankle whatsoever. I think, and then when they do the collar and tie lock up, he's nervous about being in so close to Flair that every time Flair flinches, Dusty's pulling out of the lockup because he don't want to succumb to that ankle again.
Yeah. We get more here, I suppose, of how over Dusty is, because there's a couple of moments where he's got hold of Flair and he's going to drop one of these big elbow drops. Because I mean, Dusty starts working over Flair's leg as well. They're kind of trading moves to each other's legs, and at one point, all he does is literally tilt his head and look to the crowd, and they go batshit crazy for it.
It's mental just how popular it is. And Cam said in the chat how over was Dusty. I've never seen his matches in his prime and still don't really understand the pull. Might have to dive back further. Yeah, I'm the same. The majority of the Dusty I'd seen was WWE Dusty, WWF Dusty, the polka dots, and then a little bit of like the WCW Dusty. But you go back and watch some of the Jim Crockett Promotions NWA Dusty, the fans are besotted with him. Absolutely, he's one of the most over guys in the history of wrestling. People love him.
Yeah, hugely popular. Flair gets a sleeper attached, which is another sort of slowing down moment, I guess. But then he's sent into the turnbuckle from that, and that looked quite a vigorous, stiff bump, didn't it? Really, kind of smashing his face into that corner. From there, Dusty then uses the ring post on Flair's leg, and it's obvious we can see then that Dusty's got a plan as well, and they're both trying to take each other's legs out.
Yeah.
We get a few spots with Ric Flair going to the top rope. We get the standard one where he gets caught and thrown, which is normal. We also get another where he does complete a move from the top rope, but it just gets met with Dusty's fist on the way down anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. And what I did enjoy as well was Dusty using the figure four against Flair. But the way that the two apply the figure four was interesting as well, because Dusty, none of that kind of twirling round shenanigans. It's literally just tuck your leg and there we go, where Ric Flair will hold the leg and then spin around it and stuff like that. But yeah, it was seeing them both kind of like trading figure fours to work on those injured body parts. Yeah, it was, again, just immense storytelling.
Yeah, it was very good, very good. What I liked as well when Dusty was trying the figure 4, Flair kicked him off a couple of times, and as he kicked him off, he fell back and straight away went for the ankle again.
Yeah.
So it's just adding that little bit to it again, isn't it?
Yeah, that Flair was doing his level best to try and not succumb to his own finishing move.
Yeah. Dusty opens Ric Flair up. You know, Flair bleeds because it's Ric Flair. And
white hair plus wrestling, and Ric Flair has to bleed. It's the fact.
Yeah. He drops him across the sort of metal barrier, doesn't he? The crowd barrier on the outside, and he's bleeding there. I was surprised Dusty didn't bleed, to be fair, because normally he's a bit of a gusher as well, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, with all the scars on that guy's forehead, a slight breeze usually opens up Dusty.
Yeah. Dusty's then thrown over the top rope, and I've seen this several times, of course, but I'm kind of looking for screwy potential finishes because that is how things went with Dusty Rhodes booking quite often.
Dusty, yep.
Yeah. So when Dusty was thrown over the top rope, I'm thinking, okay, here it comes.
Here we go.
The Dusty finish, where
nobody wins, baby.
Where the babyface wins the championship, but then the other referee steps in and goes, oh no, hang on. He was thrown over the top rope. It was actually a DQ. That used to happen all the time. But that didn't happen here, which I thought was quite nice.
Yep.
Well, for now.
Until we get to the end, yeah. I mean, normally the referees they're like wet paper. The minute they get touched, they go down. This referee, I think was it Tommy Young? Is he called the referee?
Tommy Young, yeah.
He takes actually quite a few bumps before he finally goes down. Yeah, it's I don't know whether it was botched or whether he kind of like lost his place, but Dusty bumps him and he kind of no sells it, and then Flair bumps him, and that's when he finally sells it.
Yeah. We get the Flair flop from the corner, but not the...
Because why not?
Yeah, but I like this because he's not got into the whole ridiculous over-the-top caricature of himself quite yet. So
walking halfway along the ring and then dropping,
So it still looks silly, just not as silly, I guess. The various punches are thrown back and forth again, and the crowd are still absolutely loving this. Ric Flair is again working more so on Dusty's leg now. He's starting to take control a little bit more before he does snap on the figure 4.
Yeah.
And Dusty is the usual shoulders are down, 2 count, gets his shoulders up for a moment and so on before the figure 4 is turned. And then Dusty kind of he gets fired up. He does the whole kind of almost hulking up version that Dusty Rhodes would do. And he starts with the punches and the elbows, and the crowd are going crazy. This is like, you imagine Hulkamania in its prime. This is the
Hogan versus Warrior. Yeah.
Yes, without a doubt. Dusty's like completely fired up. But then Dusty he bumps the ref. Then doesn't he? That's when the ref bump happens.
Yeah.
From a 2 count, he gets splatted by Dusty at one point, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he survives that. That's the issue. He gets he gets up from that, and then Dusty has to send. Oh no, Ric Flair then has to grab. I think Dusty and no, it's Dusty who grabs Ric Flair and throws Ric Flair into the ref for the ref to drop down. Yeah. So yeah, that was a little bit confusing because you would think that Dusty landing on you, that would be the big bump, but no, it's just been budged into by Ric Flair that takes down Tommy Young, and then the ref goes down, which means only one thing: interference.
Dusty gets the figure 4 on, but there's no referee.
No,
who'd have thunk it, eh? Who'd have thunk it? And then here comes the Andersons. We have Arn and Ole out. And they're attacking Dusty, but Dusty does sort of launch a few kicks towards them as well, and so on.
Well, Arn's out first, and he Dusty absolutely chins Arn Anderson to the point where I think Arn blades.
Oh, okay,
yeah, and then Ole does the sneak attack from behind, and the gentlest of knees to I think he was going for the head, but more like the the ribs, I suppose.
This interference, though, obviously, people have seen this a few times in the past. There's a referee that comes down to the ring now as Flair is making the cover because Dusty's been overpowered by the numbers game. But he kicks out at 2, and the crowd again just explode. It's so simple, but again, it's fantastic.
It is, yeah. Because you would think that would be the end of the match.
Yes. Yeah,
But
it was
it's
very
not.
much
That
set
was
up
a
that way.
dusty finish. Yeah.
Ooh. And literally then, out of nowhere, Flair goes to body slam Dusty Rhodes. We get an inside cradle. 1, 2, 3. Dusty's the world champion. Completely out of the blue.
And not only the crowd go mental for this, but half of the roster go mental as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the booker, so you're probably better off actually like praising him, so you'll get a good booking next time around.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, we love you, Dusty. Please keep giving me work. There's the celebration in the ring, and Arn, Ole, and Flair leave, and so on. And then we're backstage. We have a little interview segment as well with Dusty saying this is for the people, and he's got the 10 pounds of gold belt there, the original NWA title.
He gets sprayed with champagne, and it literally blinds him for 90% of the interview.
Yeah, that was quite funny. And then and that's effectively where the show goes off air, Magsy, isn't it? That's the end of Starrcade. So you get the feel-good moment of Dusty Rhodes winning the title, beating Ric Flair. But
they went all WWE on us.
But the decision gets changed at a later date to Dusty Rhodes winning via disqualification because the original referee, whilst on the floor, saw the interference from Arn and Ole, so disqualified Ric Flair, but Flair gets the belt back.
Yeah, because he lost the match by DQ.
Yes, exactly. This then leads to the Four Horsemen forming in January of '86, was when they were officially kind of banded together as this group, and I think Arn Anderson names them in a promo and so on, and that's where that stems from. We then go to the Great American Bash in the summer of that year in '86, and that is where Dusty does win his title, his third and final world championship from Ric Flair. So that's like the feel-good moment, the end of the feud and so on. Flair does, of course, win it back a short time afterwards, but we do get that almost like you get it twice because you get it here, but he doesn't actually win it. But on the night, you think he has, but then you get it properly. And the Great American Bash is, when you look online at best matches of Dusty Rhodes' career and so on, the Great American Bash match with Ric Flair in 1986 ranks incredibly high on all these Dusty Rhodes countdowns. It is on the network if anyone wants to go check it out. That is the one I mentioned last week that I don't think there's any commentary on it at all. But
so Shivani was commentating again then.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, he was probably on mute like me. But I mean, it is a very, very good contest if you can get past the no commentary thing, and the crowd noise carries you through anyway. But yeah, that's kind of it, Magsy, for that little jaunt back to 1985. Out of 10, mate, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, this for me it's a hard one to put a score to, because if you were judging this on the wrestling, it is the shenanigans finish. The wrestling is as basic as it gets. A lot of rest holds. If it wasn't Ric Flair versus Dusty Rhodes, this will be a piss break match. As simple and clear as that. For the wrestling that's in there, it will be a piss break match. But it is Ric Flair and it is Dusty Rhodes, so they instantly bump it up. And the whole storyline as well, if you take that into account, this is amazing storyline telling, and sometimes it's not the in-ring work that matters, it is the storytelling. So it's got to be a relatively high score. So I think I'm gonna go with an 8.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, you've actually rated this higher than me.
Well, I'm all about the storyline.
There you go. I've given it a 7. I've given it a 7.
I mean, not much difference.
No, fair enough. But it's we mentioned a few times there. There's rest holds. There's a sleeper. There's an exchange of hammerlocks and so on. It doesn't feel rest hold heavy to me, though. It doesn't feel like it slows down too much with those moves in it. And it feels like, I mean, there are moments when we watch matches and a chin lock gets applied and it seems to slow everything down and drag it down, and the atmosphere disappears and all this sort of stuff. I don't think that happens here. I think that this still goes along at not a quick pace by any stretch of the imagination. It's 1985, but it still goes along at a pace good enough to be entertaining from bell to bell. And what's riding on it, the world title, and the fact that you've got this storyline with Dusty that you mentioned, Magsy, as well, just adds a little bit more sparkle to it for me. I really enjoyed it. I mean, Ric Flair has had better matches, of course. Dusty has had, these two have had better matches together. But the spectacle of it being Starrcade, and even though it didn't last, Dusty winning the belt, I loved it, mate. I loved it. And I just love Jim Crockett Promotions and that whole era anyway. But yeah, this to me I thought was very good. But a 7 is kind of as high as I think I can go.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okie doke. Where shall we go next week?
Okay, so I was tempted to not even use this match as the link. I was tempted to go with a European title match, but I think that was not only bending the rules, that would have broken the rules. So I have got a link. So you think of Dusty Rhodes, you think of Ric Flair, and you think of these have legacies in wrestling. These guys epitomize wrestling, and that legacy has been passed down through their loins. In Ric Flair's case, maybe he should have kept his loins to himself on more than one occasion. But
I think so.
you talk about Charlotte Flair, Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer. You talk about Cody Rhodes and Dustin, future Hall of Famers. And that got me thinking about other families that will have like multiple generations of Hall of Famers. And one family really stood out to me, and that's the Ortons. Cowboy Bob Orton, obviously, Hall of Famer. And Randy Orton will be a first ballot Hall of Famer when he hangs up the boots. He's arguably one of the best wrestlers that have ever wrestled in a ring. I mean, his body of work speaks for itself. I mean, this guy has 50 matches that are 4 stars and above. And this is Dave Meltzer rankings, who hates WWE with a passion, and he's give Randy Orton 54 plus star matches. So I don't think we've covered enough Randy Orton on this show, and it's time we delved into there. So I thought we'd go for one of his good matches, and he's had 10 4.5 star matches. So there's plenty to pick from. The obvious one would be Cactus versus Randy Orton, the no holds barred match. But I want to actually go with a fatal 4-way that he had from Backlash of 2007. It was Edge versus John Cena versus Shawn Michaels versus Randy Orton. So that's the match I'm going for. The fatal 4-way from Backlash 2007.
Oh, a bit of Shawn Michaels as well, mate. A bit of Shawn Michaels as well. Do you know what's
really
really strange
for everyone?
Do you know what's really strange about you bringing that match up?
Go on.
I watched this probably about a fortnight ago.
Really?
Just randomly picking some wrestling to put on in bed whilst I dozed off, 2 or whatever. I put this on, and it's fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm. Well, on this card, I think you've got is it Taker and Batista as well, which is another banger. But yeah, WWE title on the line, fatal 4-way for the best wrestlers of this generation. What's not to love about it?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. What a shite that is. I would happily watch that next week. Absolutely brilliant. And also thinking ahead, think of all the options you got to link from there again. So yeah. Great shout, Magsy. Great shout. You mentioned that we've not seen a lot of Randy Orton. I'm going to go with two wrestlers that I think we haven't seen at all. Maybe one of them popping up in a Royal Rumble for a couple of minutes, but nothing.
Oh, please be Gilbert. Please say you've linked this to Gilbert.
I haven't. Do you know what? I wish I had now. But no. I'm going to use the title belt itself to link with. So the old £10 of gold, the original not the original, but that version of the NWA World title. That then became the world title in TNA for a while. And I don't think we've seen enough TNA or Impact Wrestling, as it is now known, on the show. So I'm going to go with a match that I don't think I've ever seen. Two wrestlers who I think we have not covered before and again, for this NWA title, and somebody who I didn't even realize held the NWA title.
Okay.
Raven, you mentioned him earlier on. Raven defended the NWA title on the No Surrender 2005 TNA pay-per-view against Abyss in a dog collar match.
Oh.
So that is where I would like to head back to 2005 No Surrender pay-per-view. It's on YouTube. The show is available in its entirety on YouTube. Raven versus Abyss, NWA title, dog collar match in the main event of No Surrender 2005.
So who did you not realize had been the champion? Raven.
Yeah, I didn't realize Raven had held that title, that championship belt. And when I saw an image of it, it looks weird. It looks so strange, Raven holding that belt.
Okay. I mean, it's not a match that I remember seeing. But yeah, that'll be a cool pick. And as Cam says in the chat, he knows what Dan's going to vote for because
the thing is,
himself a bit of TNA.
We've got a couple of people who love TNA from different, like Scottish Danny loves TNA, but I think he's very much, his ballpark is slightly later than that. But I've got a message here. I will check that out in a moment, King Pig Spiders. Thank you. And it can work for or against you with this, because I've never seen this. They probably have. If it's shit, they're not going to vote for it, and I don't know, So, oh, look at this, Bruno Andre. Look at the Horseman. This is fantastic.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
Everyone listening on the audio podcast version later in the week who want to see this version of the Four Horsemen, that is, oh my God,
it's spot on. It's absolutely spot on.
We have Peter Andre, Frank Bruno
with the wig as well, with the Ric Flair hair. That's amazing.
Dan
Great
Griffin,
work.
Cam Griffin, and Pig Splatters himself there. Just absolutely fantastic stuff. Go and check it out on the Chain Wrestling Twitter account at @chain_wrestling. There, I'll retweet it once the show is finished with. But yeah, that is fantastic, Pig Splatters. I knew you wouldn't let us down, my friend.
That is amazing. Nailed it. Absolutely nailed it.
But those are your options for this week's poll. We have a fatal four-way for the WWE title from Backlash 2007. Randy Orton versus Edge versus Shawn Michaels versus John Cena. There is some talent there and some world title reigns. So why?
Yeah.
Or we head to, well, I suppose very much the early days of TNA wrestling. A dog collar match from No Surrender 2005 between Raven and Abyss. Those are your options. The poll will be up earlier than it was this week because I swear to God, I'm not going to forget. I promise. And I know Sharon will badger me and remind me and irritate me until it's done. So there we go. Yeah, great stuff. Is there anything else in the chat we should be looking at, Magsy, before we depart tonight?
Yeah, we've got Cam saying he knows that what Dan's voting for. TNA is going to get his vote every time. Cam is scarred by that picture, but he admits that it is amazing work. Scottish Danny says it's a hard choice, but he may be going with WWE this week.
Ooh.
So there's already dissension in the CWF ranks.
Interesting stuff. But there we go. Magsy, whereabouts can people find you online if they so wish to be ignored?
I am so ignorant on social media. I don't check it at all. But listen out for me, and this is a cheap plug. Listen out for me on Steve O's podcast in the very near future. We had I want to say pleasure, because I got to chat to Steve O for a couple of hours, but we did watch the Raw after the Part Bomb, and it's not a good show. The podcast is a brilliant show. The chat that me and Steve had is amazing, and yeah, such a great time to just sit and chinwag with him. We actually tested a new format out as well, so listen out for that. How that goes. Nice. But yeah, you can check me out on Steve O's podcast in the upcoming weeks. In terms of social media, I'm on Twitter. Well, I have a Twitter account. I don't use it. I have a TikTok account. I don't use that either. At Podfather Mags on Twitter, at Mags All Pods on TikTok. So yeah, that's where you can find me. But as we say every week, I just want to say thank you to all you guys for listening every week, for tuning in every week, for getting involved. You guys make this show. If it were just me and Sal, we will be in and out in 20 minutes. But you guys, you make us go Broadway, 2-hour shows, and we absolutely love you all for it. You're the stars of this show, not me, and certainly not Sal.
No, definitely not me. Fucking hell. As the intro said, it's a podcast charade, mate. Yeah, I want to second that as well. Everybody in the CWF, everyone who listens to the audio version, joins us live on a Monday, comments in the chat, retweets our stuff, votes, gets involved with non-wrestling topic. My good lady Sharon acting as our quizmaster earlier on.
Amazing.
Everybody, you're all fantastic. It is brilliant stuff. All I ask of you, please, is you are following the show on Twitter at @chain_wrestling, following the network at SJP Raw Media, and you're also doing the same with regards to your podcast player platforms, providers, etc. Make sure you're subscribed and so on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. And also with the YouTube channel itself. We want more subscribers there as well, please. And if you see fit, I would love you to leave us a lovely fat 5-star review, because we are fucking superstars. But yes, there you go. The network is at SJP Raw Media, and the show itself at @chain_wrestling. Magsy, I'm off now to scour YouTube and see what other TNA events I can find for free and not have to pay for, because I love it.
I'm off to watch a Gilbert marathon. See you all guys later.
Bye-bye.